the finish to the Booker T versus Ric Flair loser leaves WCW match, and Booker T did come out on top. So unfortunately, Ric Flair will no longer be with us here in World Championship Wrestling for the time being. 70 rating there. And we get a graphic that tonight we will see Ric Flair say goodbye to the WCW fans. So 66 rating there. Ric Flair will be saying goodbye. He's not going to WWF, luckily, but he will be leaving WCW for the foreseeable future. And we got Sting coming down to the ring. He comes down and he says that he talks about beating Scott Steiner at Halloween Havoc, and he is looking forward to Starrcade. And he's trying to figure out who he's going to main event the biggest pay-per-view of the year with. And he's just trying to figure out who that's going to be. And as he's kind of just talking about this, Eric Bischoff's music hits. And he talks about how, before Sting even starts talking about Starrcade and this and that and whatever, he has to remind him about Mayhem here in November, where there will be 2 big matches on the card that will shape the very foundation of WCW. First matchup Bischoff talks about is the 6-man Mayhem WCW Championship match, which Sting, you will have to defend your WCW Championship against 5 other worthy participants, and if you can somehow survive the Mayhem match, which will be a 4-pod steel cage structure. So we're bringing the elimination chamber to WCW a year prior to it being brought to WWE, and we're calling it the Mayhem match. Now, 6 participants, same situation. Sting will defend his belt, and then Bischoff talks about how the winner of the Mayhem Battle Royal, which is a 30-man over the top rope, so the Royal Rumble style, will face the WCW champion at Starrcade in December. Sting kind of looks shocked, but obviously 2 bombshells have been dropped by Bischoff here. Major stuff going on here so far. And we got our first bout of the evening. And in a debut of a former WWF superstar, in a poor match, Too Cool Scott Taylor defeats Alex Wright in 6 minutes with the Worm. Scott Taylor of 49, Alex Wright of 46. Unfortunately, did not get over, so that's unfortunate. Okay, he can't be. That's fine. We'll go with that. And Scott Taylor does get the win here. 47 rating. Gets his debut. Not the best match by any stretch of the imagination, but got him a win on his debut. New addition to the Cruiserweight division. And we get 2 graphics for the Mayhem match. Next week, we will have Booker T versus Rey Mysterio in a qualifying match. And Rick Steiner returns to WCW in a qualifying matchup against Double J Jeff Jarrett next week. So 2 big matches next week. Winners of those bouts will be in the Mayhem 6-person matchup. Just kind of getting the foundation going there. Looking forward to all of that greatness. 60 rating on the board. We got Pinpoint come on down, and they go to commentary to watch this match, as it's the Road Warriors versus those Southern Boys. And in a decent matchup, the Road Warriors do defeat those Southern Boys in 8 minutes and 27 seconds. And Rory Animal pins Jamie Noble after a powerbomb. We got Hawk dropping a 54, Animal a 53. Noble and Cash both put 60s. Good stuff here, 57 rating. Those Southern Boys are actually not in a bad spot on the card. I just really wish I could give them some more W's. I just don't have it to be able to, honestly, right now. 57 rating there. And post-match, Pinpoint rolls into the ring, and the Road Warriors stare at the WCW Tag Team Championships as AJ Styles lays down the challenge. WCW Tag Team Championship match next week. The Road Warriors challenge Pinpoint. 46 rating there. It's like the old school versus the new school here. Backstage, we got Little Guido talking Super Crazy and Psychosis, and he's obviously livid about what happened last night at Halloween Havoc. He had a tough match against Mysterio, and then Psychosis and Super Crazy failed him in the WCW Tag Team Championship match. Psychosis took the pin, so he's laying in on him and says Psychosis has to prove himself in a matchup right now against a hand-picked opponent. 60 rating there. Psychosis is in the ring, and Little Guido leads Ray Gonzalez, one of our developmental talents, down to the ring and says, "This is your opponent, Psychosis." And then in a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Ray Gonzalez defeats Psychosis in 6:35 with a Phoenix landing. Psychosis a 58, Ray Gonzalez a 51, 52 rating on the board. Post-match, Little Guido, Super Crazy, and Ray Gonzalez destroy Psychosis as Little Guido declares Psychosis banished from the militia and Ray Gonzalez as the newest member of the militia. So, a very odd situation here. So, I don't want to kind of spoil this, but Psychosis' contract was up at the end of November, and I had the full intentions of re-signing him. And unfortunately for us, AAA offered him a deal that was like $88,000 a month, and I was paying him $18,000 a month. So naturally, I couldn't make that deal. And Ray Gonzalez has had a few tryout matches with us, and he's performed really well. So we're going to give him a shot here to help out that militia situation, because I see a lot of potential in him, and I think this could be a cool way to introduce him to the fans and make him kind of important. You know what I mean? So the militia gets rid of Psychosis and replaces him with Ray Gonzalez. I think hopefully that helps the situation. I know it's not the best thing to do to lose a member, but I felt like this was the best move going forward. Tony Mamaluke was an option, but I just didn't feel it was ready, and I didn't want to make Guido just a tag team wrestler, yet I still wanted him to be on his own. So 54 rating there. And in a good matchup, Rob Van Dam defeats Rhino in 10:25 with a 5-star frog splash. Rhino a 53, Rob Van Dam an 81, 69 rating on the board. Rhino is off his game. That's unfortunate. I'll be totally honest, I am really having a hard time writing Rhino just because there's no clear-cut way for me to kind of build him up the way I would work in a smaller company. So I'm really struggling there. Hopefully I can get out of that writer's issue with him and really find something to sink my teeth into with him. But we can't find it right now. And in a decent matchup, Shane Helms defeats Elix Skipper in 7:20 by pinfall with a vertebreaker. Helms a 58, Skipper a 59, 59 rating on the board. Elix Skipper he's a great hand. I don't see that potential for championship quality right now. Quality's there. The championship guy is just not there right now, unfortunately. In post-match, the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels comes out and challenges Shane Helms to a match next week. Helms says he refuses to defend the title against him, and Daniels says, "That's fine, I'm going to beat you non-title to prove my worth for the Cruiserweight Championship. Since you won a ladder match, you didn't even pin me." So 53 rating there. Backstage, Buff Bagwell is cutting a promo, and he talks about how Kidman and the WCW fans want me to apologize for something that I didn't even do. That was Kidman's fault. Kidman is the one that landed on Tori, not me. Let's realistically think about this. You have someone jumping at you. What are you going to do? You're going to naturally, get out of the way, and it's not my fault that Tori was in that way. So Buff is really kind of laying it on here that it's not his fault. I'm trying to not do a Gene Snitsky angle here, but it's more or less we're eventually leading to him and Kidman going at it, a couple more times here and really getting this feud over with at that point. Probably going to try to get it to go to Starrcade to give both guys something really good to do, and it really just kind of intertwines the story. So we'll see what that goes. 54 rating there. And about that had great heat and decent wrestling. Bill Goldberg defeats Buff Bagwell with a jackhammer in about 10 minutes. Buff a 49, 75 out of Goldberg. Kidman's distraction caused Goldberg to get the upper hand. 67 rating on the board. Good stuff there. Buff was off his game. That's unfortunate, man. Come on, Buff. We got Lance Storm walks up to Flair backstage, and he's just thanking him for everything Flair has done in this business and for him. You know, over the past year, he's really kind of been a mentor to Lance, as Lance is now kind of finding himself here in WCW. And Ric Flair just kind of smiles at him, and they embrace, and Flair walks off as Storm is kind of seen looking at the camera on the way out of the commercial. 68 rating there. And a good matchup, Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Chavo Guerrero Jr. in 12:42 with a springboard Hurricane Rana. 59 for Chavo, 81 for Mysterio, 74 rating. Just want to have a good, really good TV match here, and both guys definitely did not disappoint. Always can put these guys together, and it's always magic. So no complaints here, 74 rating. Backstage promo from Chris Kanyon, talking about how people are already saying that he squeaked out of that match against Mike Awesome, and that he had to cheat to beat the Awesome Man, or Mike Awesome. And Chris Kanyon talks about how, you know, you can call it cheating, you can call it all this stuff, but when you're a smaller man, you have to find different ways to defeat a monster type guy like Mike Awesome. And the thing is, like, if I didn't do that, you would still be ridiculing me. So you can be contradicting all you want, but the fact is, I'm still the WCW United States Champion. 54 rating there. And about that had good heat and decent wrestling. Chris Kanyon defeats the returning Rick Steiner in 10 minutes 23 with a handful of tights. Steiner a 54, Kanyon a 71. Steiner was off his game, but they have great chemistry, so that's nice. 63 rating there. Rick Steiner's back in the fold as a singles competitor now that him and Animal are done, and Steiner actually was hurt, so that's one of the main reasons I brought in Animal and Hawk together. But now that he's back, we're going to start using him in a good way here. So 63 rating there. Ric Flair comes down to the ring to do his goodbye promo. He thanks the fans, he thanks WCW, he thanks professional wrestling, he thanks all the guys in the back. As much as he hates Booker T, he thanks him for putting on a great match together last night. 74 rating there. And as Ric Flair goes to say goodbye to the fans, he is interrupted by Father James Mitchell. He comes down to the ringside area, and he personally wanted to thank Ric Flair for all that he has done in professional wrestling. Him and Rick kind of have that like stare down moment, but then he says, "But I have to thank you one final time, and I couldn't think of a better way to do it than this." Abyss debuts as he attacks Ric Flair from behind, beating him down over and over and over. Chair shot after chair shot, hits Ric Flair with the black hole slam. Flair is a bloody mess, as only Ric Flair could be, as we end the show with a bloodied, battered, bruised Ric Flair laid out on the mat as James Mitchell is holding the Monster Abyss's hand up as the show ends. 74 rating there. Abyss is officially arrived here in WCW, and he is a force. Let's see what we get for a rating here. I'm a little nervous on this rating because I did try to take some risks, but we'll see. 68 rating on the board. Okay. 23 regions increased popularity. Canada and Japan, we know the drill with that. Okay. So just to kind of give you a rundown on this show, we had 2 debuts with Ray Gonzalez, developmental guy, and Abyss, also a developmental guy. Both are now officially on the roster. Both are being set in their spots going forward. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Rick Steiner returned. We had 2 matches announced for the qualifiers for the Mayhem match next week. So we'll have 2 participants named next week. And then we'll start talking about the Mayhem 30-man matchup. And on top of that, we have the WCW Tag Team Championship match next week. We have a non-title Cruiserweight Championship match next week. So, and obviously, we're going to have to be reeling after what Abyss just did to Ric Flair. Remember, Ric Flair's gone as of now, so Abyss made his statement. What's next, you know? So hopefully you are enjoying this. This was a really fun show for me to put together. Hopefully you like it. Like I said, please like the video. Show some love on that. Please comment if you are enjoying it. I will comment every comment back, no problem. Please sub if you are new. But next week we got another amazing Nitro as we go right into the road to Mayhem.